We begin, though, with the news from Ukraine today. The sporting community has been quick to respond. More on that in a moment. But in the last hour, the Prime Minister has announced a new series of far-reaching sanctions on Russia. Now, they target a number of Russian individuals and companies, including a UK ban on Aeroflot, a commercial partner of Manchester United. This is what Boris Johnson had to say to Parliament just a short time ago.
Putin will stand condemned in the eyes of the world and of history. He will never be able to cleanse the blood of Ukraine from his hands. The UK is announcing the largest and most severe package of economic sanctions that Russia has ever seen. With new financial measures, we're taking new powers to target Russian finance, in addition to the banks we've already sanctioned this week.
Now, FIFA's president, Gianni Infantino, called a news conference today as a result of Russia's invasion. This is what he had to say.
FIFA expresses hope for a rapid cessation of hostilities and for peace in Ukraine. FIFA condemns as well the use of force by Russia in Ukraine and any type of violence to resolve conflicts. Any type of violence. Because violence is never a solution. And therefore, we call on all parties to restore peace through constructive dialogue. And of course, FIFA continues to express our solidarity to the people affected by this conflict. In such situations, football is definitely not a priority, but FIFA, as the world governing body of football, has of course as well a duty to look into the footballing consequences of what is happening in Ukraine. And in this respect, regarding the football matters in both Ukraine and Russia, we continue to monitor the situation, and we will communicate updates with regard in particular the upcoming FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 qualifiers soon. We have the FIFA Bureau, who is in charge of dealing with these matters and who can take decisions immediately as soon as it's needed.
Well, the impact of the invasion has already had a significant impact on the geopolitics of sport. UEFA will move the Champions League final from the Russian city of St Petersburg, and the Ukraine FA wants all Russian teams kicked out of top-level FIFA and UEFA competitions. Our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol, is with us. Kaveh, so we had strong words from the Prime Minister in the Commons. He said he's going after oligarchs, didn't mention Roman Abramovich. Does that mean Abramovich is off the hook?
Well, I'm not sure. Roman Abramovich, the Chelsea owner, was not mentioned by name. But the last time that we had sanctions that were announced in the House of Commons, we also got a list of all the names of people who were being sanctioned. We've not had that list yet. And Boris Johnson said that all major Russian banks, for instance, would be excluded from the UK financial system. There was a full asset freeze on the second biggest bank in Russia. And he also said that there would be asset freezes extended to 100 more people. Now, we haven't seen that list yet, so I don't know whether Mr. Abramovich is on that list. I would say that as far as the Chelsea owner is concerned, earlier today in the House of Commons, Chris Bryant, the Labour MP, used parliamentary privilege to say that Abramovich's assets should be seized. He said that he was in possession of a leaked Home Office document which said that Abramovich should not be allowed to base himself in the United Kingdom. Now, we have contacted sources close to Mr. Abramovich, and his spokesman is telling us that he is declining to comment. So that is where we are as far as Mr. Abramovich is concerned.
Now, Kaveh, 2 days ago, you sat in that chair and I said to you, should Chelsea fans be worried? 2 days on, I'm going to ask you the same question, given what Chris Bryant has said in the Commons. Should Chelsea fans be worried?
I think Chelsea fans are worried. They are worried because their club is owned by a Russian billionaire, one of the richest men in the world. He has transformed the club. Since he's bought Chelsea, they've been the most successful club in England. No club has won more trophies than Chelsea since Roman Abramovich bought the club. So, of course, Chelsea supporters are going to be concerned this evening by what is happening in Ukraine. But I suppose the other side of the story is Mr. Abramovich has done a lot, not just for Chelsea, but also the community around Chelsea. Chelsea have done a lot of work when it comes to anti-Semitism and anti-racism. For instance, during the coronavirus pandemic, they did a lot of work. The hotel at Stamford Bridge was given over to be used by NHS doctors and nurses. So Roman Abramovich has also done a lot off the field as far as Chelsea are concerned. But as far as Chelsea supporters are concerned this evening, yes, of course, they are going to be worried. But as I said, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, did not mention Roman Abramovich by name. Chris Bryant, using parliamentary privilege, earlier did today in the House of Commons. Mr. Abramovich's spokesman declining to comment.
UEFA moved quite quickly. You deal with these governing bodies. Are you surprised at how quickly they've moved regarding the Champions League final?
Look, I am, because sometimes in football we get sort of football speak. We get some of the stuff that Mr. Infantino was coming out with, the FIFA president there. I respect the fact that he's in a difficult position because Russia are an influential member of FIFA. The World Cup was held in FIFA 4 years ago. Johnny Infantino himself got the friendship medal from Vladimir Putin. He has a pretty close relationship with Vladimir Putin, so I think he was in a difficult position at this news conference today. As far as UEFA are concerned, I think they've come out very, very quickly. The statement they released this afternoon was very, very strongly worded. It said, "We strongly condemn the ongoing Russian military invasion in Ukraine." UEFA said it stands resolutely in solidarity with not just the football community in Ukraine, but also the people of Ukraine. And it said that they would deal with this situation with the utmost seriousness and urgency. Very, very strong words from UEFA. And they're going to back it up with actions, because words are cheap. Anybody can come out with words and say, what's happening is terrible, we hope for peace, we hope it's sorted out soon. What UEFA are actually going to do is do something concrete and say, we're taking the Champions League final away from Russia. It's not going to be held in St Petersburg. A lot of people now think that FIFA needs to back up these words with actions as well. For instance, echoing what the Ukrainian Football Association has said this evening. Isn't it time that Russian teams and the national team was kicked out of all UEFA and FIFA competitions? Remains to be seen whether that happens. This evening, a Russian team is playing in the Europa League. Zenit St Petersburg playing in Spain against Real Betis. They're 3-2 down. They're the last Russian team left in European competition. But a lot of people will be thinking, why are Russia playing in the World Cup qualifiers? Poland saying today, we are not going to Russia, we are not going to Moscow. They're not saying Russia should be kicked out of the World Cup qualifiers. They're just saying, we're not going to Russia, find an alternative venue for us to play Russia. I think it's getting to the stage, what we've seen with the state-sponsored doping program that Russia has been running as far as the Olympics are concerned, what they've done to the Olympics, what is now going on in Europe. A lot of people are saying, look, enough is enough. We don't want to be competing against Russia. Not Russian people, but a Russia that is run by this regime.
Kaveh Solokol, our chief reporter, thank you very much. So governing bodies, there's a lot to think about, and Formula One bosses will meet tonight to discuss whether the Russian Grand Prix will go ahead in September. Sebastian Vettel is the first driver to boycott the race. The former world champion was speaking on day 2 of Formula One testing in Barcelona.
In my personal opinion, obviously, I think I woke up again to this morning's news and shocked. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's horrible to see what is happening, and obviously, if you look at the calendar, we have a race scheduled in Russia. For myself, my own opinion is I should not go. I will not go. I think it's wrong to race in the country. I'm sorry for the people, innocent people that are losing their lives, that are getting killed for stupid reasons, and a very, very strange and mad leadership. So I'm sure that's something that we will talk about. But as I said, on behalf of GPDA, we haven't come together yet. But personally, I'm just so shocked and sad to see what's going on. So we will see going forward. But I think my decision is already made.